Alexandria Ocasio Cortez says Trump needs a woman to vilify after chants of AOC sucks at his rally. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio Cortez has said that President Donald Trump needs a woman to vilify after his supporters chanted AOC sucks at a rally. You know, this is part of a pattern that the right and the far right and, frankly, the president is consistent with, the freshman Democrat said in New York on Friday, reported A. He doesn't have another woman, Hillary Clinton, or whoever else, to vilify anymore, so they need to find another woman to kind of prop up and become a lightning rod. Ocasio Cortez was responding to Trump's rally on Thursday in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Prior to his speech, "You guys, you're not very nice," Trump Jr. remarked dryly in response to the chant. In her remarks on Friday, Ocasio Cortez also revealed she had recently accepted an invitation from Kentucky GOP Republican Andy Barr to borrow from one of my colleagues' terms, "You can't hate up close," she said. And so that's why I am excited to not only come back home to my district but to take up Congressman Barr's invitation to go to the coal mines in Kentucky, because I think that one of the ways that we can combat that is showing people that we're fighting for them too. Harlan County, in the heart of eastern Kentucky coal country, voted 85% Indiana favor of Trump Indiana the 2016 presidential election. In separate remarks in New York on Friday night, Ocasio Cortez raised eyebrows by comparing climate change to the 9/11 terror attacks. In the events of September 11, 2001, thousands of Americans died in the largest terrorist attack on U.S. soil, and our national response, whether we agree with it or not, was to go to war in one then eventually two countries, she said during an all-in town hall at the Albert Einstein Medical Center in the Bronx on Friday, hosted by MSNBC's Chris Hayes. 3,000 Americans died in Puerto Rico in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria. Where is our response? The Trump administration has been heavily criticized for its slow and ineffective response to the national emergency on the U.S. island. After FEMA announced the death toll on the island was nearly 3,000, Trump tweeted denying the number. In the months following the September 2017 hurricane, FEMA admitted to having widespread failures in its response to the humanitarian aid. By January, the president insisted his administration did a fantastic job and criticized the island when it asked for billions of dollars to rebuild. In the 9/11 terror attack, about 3,000 lives were lost and more than 6,000 people were injured. The New York rep said on Friday that she's seen the U.S. government mobilize its resources in dire situations, principally when it comes to conflict and war. Historically speaking, we have mobilized our entire economy around war. But I thought to myself, and so to get us out of this situation, to revamp our economy, to create dignified jobs for working Americans, to guarantee health care and elevate our educational opportunities and attainment, we will have to mobilize our entire economy around saving ourselves and taking care of this planet, she added, tying climate change back to the Green New Deal proposal. AOC went on to defend her proposed stimulus program and reject the Republican criticism of it. I didn't expect them to make total fools of themselves. I expected a lift. She went on to defend her plan, which calls for a full transition to renewable energy by 2030, saying it economically and politically feasible. We don't have time for 5 years of a half-baked, watered-down position. This is urgent, so this issue is not just about our climate. First and foremost, AOC told the town hall attendees that she hopes the initiative can at least spark conversation in D.C. about the dire reality of climate change and how to use the American economy as a way to tackle it in a manner similar to the government's head-on approach to the Great Depression and World War II. Critics on Twitter didn't see quite eye to eye with AOC's comparison. One was a natural event, sometimes called an act of God, which was unavoidable. The other was an act, not really. The common denominator. Guess you are unaware of all the containers of food and other necessities the US sent ahead of time. Many supplies There's no money to be made destroying a hurricane, another Twitter user wrote.
Raindrop, drop top, top smoking, no cooking the hot bar. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that.